Have you heard the term reach, target, and safe before? So when you choose the schools that you apply to, right, we ask you in general, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, right? That's the idea. You want to mix it up. So what people suggest is that you choose schools on the basis of three and classify them into three buckets, right? Reach schools, target schools, and safe schools. Now your target schools, we're going to talk about researching the school and fit and all of that. The schools that call to you the most, the schools that are most meaningful to you in terms of your aspirations are your target schools. So fix your target schools first. It is not necessarily based on the ranking. You don't say, I'm only good enough for a rank 15 school or a rank 20 school, so that's my target school or something like that, right? You have certain schools that you set as your target based on varied factors. For example, when I applied for my MBA program, people ask me with a 780, why didn't you get an admission from Harvard or Stanford? I didn't get an admission from Harvard or Stanford because I didn't apply to Harvard or Stanford. Because I was very particular about what I wanted from my MBA program. It was a very narrow list of factors. And a very high factor was the need to have a 100% tuition fee waiver, because I knew even when I was applying that there was a good 90% chance that I was going to come back. So the schools I applied to was only 10 and below. Right? There's only one top 9 school that really attracted me, and that was Berkeley. And Berkeley anyway never considered people for a second MBA. So it was never something I could apply to. Right? So my target school, I didn't apply to anything that you would classify as a reach school. Right? I applied to target schools and safe schools. Safe schools because I knew I had to get that 100% scholarship, and USC Marshall and UCLA were target schools, but I was hoping I would get a 100% tuition fee waiver, right? So you do that, you target schools, you safe schools, about 2 to 4 schools each, and then you choose another couple of schools that are your reach or aspirational schools. So for a lot of people, the Harvards and Stanfords and MITs will fall under that category, right? It doesn't have to be Harvard, Stanford, right? Based on your profile and everything, you decide what these three buckets are. Choose about 8 schools to apply to. And a lot of your decisions as to whether the school falls under this bucket or that one depends on the class profile data that you have and how that compares to the quantitative data points that you have as well. Because it's important for you when you start the application process itself to start thinking about how you're going to handle it when the results start coming in, right? When I get your ISB deadline, for example, is December 3rd. Let's say you're applying to ISB and you're applying to a couple of schools in the January deadline outside of India, right? Now, you need to start deciding what is your target and what is aspiration. Is ISB your number one choice, or is it if I end up staying in India, I want to go to choice, right? Then when the ISB results comes in earlier, I can accept the admission, or are you going to wait to hear from a couple of other schools? Having that clarity as to what's my target, what's my reach, and what's my safe schools allows you to better take the decisions when you just have a couple of days in hand and then you have to accept your admission and then pay the deposit and all of that comes in, right? So don't start thinking about that now. It will also determine how much time you're going to spend, how much effort you're going to spend on working on your application essays for each of these schools, right? A couple of safe schools, if you just decide last minute to apply to, and in a week get your application essays together, that's still fine. But you do that for a reach school, I would absolutely not recommend it. What is the point of having a reach school and then not giving your best shot at it, right? So for these reasons, wherever you apply, think through how much the school matters to you.